brightness పెంచు. Hello online, please confirm I am audible and visible. If you confirm, I will start the session. You can message in the chat box in YouTube. Yes. First of all, everyone should excuse me. I am suffering with fever and cold, so some inconvenience will be with the voice. But however, it's my responsibility to discuss the paper on the day. So I am discussing the paper 1. So see, the first question, which is 5-marker question, which is attributes of culture, Harappan maritime trade, critical perspective on avoidance and joking relationship, lethal and sublethal genes, hemoglobin in health and diseases, which comes under unit number 9.56 genetic markers regarding hemoglobin, pulse rate, heartbeat. Historical particularism is a critical development to the classical evolutionism. Means historical development or historical particularism is a solution for criticism on classical evolutionism. So in this way, this is the question paper of today morning 9 to 12 Anthropology paper 1. In our YouTube, you can see the first impression, how the question paper is. And now I am going to discuss in detail each and every question, what should be the proper answer. And by tomorrow night, I will be providing you the appropriate model answers for 2024 paper 1 and paper 2 by tomorrow night. I started preparing. So the complete description I will be doing of 2024 paper 1. So this is the question paper. Yes. First question, section A, 5 questions were been there, which are of compulsory questions in this. Attributes of culture. What are the attributes of culture? So for this answer, you should write 10 marker, you have to remember in your mind. Culture definition of E.B. Taylor or Malinowski or Ralph Linton or Clifford Geertz, one definition you have to write. Then directly attributes of culture. Culture can be understood by material and non-material aspects. What are the material aspects? What are the non-material aspects? You will write. Then you have to write about the characteristics of culture. Then you will mention about the characteristics of culture. Then you know that culture or culture pattern is understood by culture complexes. Combination of culture complexes is called as culture traits, which we discussed in our classroom, which is given by Kroiber. So in this way, this is the answer for attributes of culture with some examples. Materials of the culture, few examples, and non-materials of the culture, few examples, which we discussed in our classroom. Culture pattern, combination of, it is nothing but a combination of culture complexes. Every culture complex is a combination of culture traits. This is the answer for the first question. Coming to second question, Harappan maritime trade. I told you, one of the evidence also I have, I'm not exaggerating myself, but however, it's inevitable to show my evidences, then only people will believe it. So that is the reason I am forced to give one evidence in my mobile phone, whereby Rishabh Singh, All India rank 294 in 2022, he asked me a few days back on Thursday, I guess, sir, I am not writing this exam, but one of my friend is writing the exam. Can I know what type of questions can be expected from paper 2 exclusively and paper 1? Then I told, if you see here in this my message box, 100 years of Indus Valley civilization, 1921, but Harappa was been exclusively excavated in 1924, so 100 years of Harappa. So there is an expected question called as 100 years of IVC will come. On the same lines, there is a question here. So few questions which we can expect, that is Harappan maritime trade. Lothal we have to write. We have to write about the excavated evidences, seals we got, and the same seals we got in Mesopotamia as well as in ancient Egyptian civilization. From this we came to conclusion that yes, in Harappan civilization there was trade was been happening, and this trade also gave us information that yes, there is a contact between the civilizations. People from Mesopotamian came to the Indus Valley, or the people from Indus Valley moved there. Not only the people movement, there is movement of materials also, for which we got the evidences of buttons, we got the evidences of seals, we will tell. And not only that, we also came to conclusion that in the extinction of Indus Valley civilization, according to Mortimer Wheeler told that the Indus Valley civilization became extinct mainly because of the maritime trade has been degenerated or disappeared like anything. So because of this reason, there is a very good maritime exercises or mercantile trade was been merchandise trade was been happening between the early civilizations like Mesopotamian, ancient Egyptian or Indus Valley. These all points you have to write. If you draw a map, it is well and good. Third question, critical perspective on avoidance and joking relationship. This we will be discussing in 2.5. Avoidance. What is avoidance? Lot of times in classroom we discussed like son-in-law and mother-in-law avoidance. There is an avoidance. There is some taboo whereby both will not come across each other. Both will have some limitations in their behavior, in their way of speaking, in their nature, in their pursuing the things. Similarly, there is joking relation also, like Babi relationship, like sister-in-law and brother-in-law relationship. There is a joking type of relationship. So, with respect to the relationship, we can understand what type of kinship relation they have. So, how we should write the answer for this? So, avoidance and joking relationship come under the kinship bonding. So, kinship is a bond whereby the people come into relationship either by blood or by marital relationship. That particular bond is called as kinship bond. In kinship bond, there are several types of relations are there, like avunculate, like patriarchal, like matriarchal, joking, avoidance. Here we are going to discuss about avoidance, side heading avoidance. Then next side heading is joking relationship. With some examples, you have to prove it. Lethal and sublethal genes, everyone we know that dominant, recessive, conditional lethal. So in lethal genes, there is a 100% chance of death of the individual. Sublethal, there is no 100% chance of death of the individual. That is called as sublethal genes. In our classroom we understood. So lethal genes and sublethal genes is a direct question. Next, hemoglobin in health and disease. Hemoglobin is a protein. Globin class of protein is catching heme. Heme is nothing but iron protein which will be having iron. So this iron catching protein which is called as hemoglobin, which is called as heme catching protein, will help in pumping of oxygenated blood. More the hemoglobin content, more the oxygenated blood will be pumped. If you remember, there are some variations are there. For women, this much hemoglobin content should be there. For male, this much content of hemoglobin should be there. For Caucasoids, this much content of hemoglobin is there. For Negroid, this much content of hemoglobin is there. There is population variation is there. For example, if you go to Middle East countries, the hemoglobin content is more because of environmental factors. What is the environmental factors? There is huge availability of dates. There is huge availability of dry fruits. That is the reason the hemoglobin content is more. Now you will come to India. But however, in Indian tribal communities, mainly Santal and Orans, 60% of the women is suffering with depreciation or deficiency in hemoglobin, because of which they are suffering with anemia. However, there are varieties of hemoglobin deficient diseases are there, like sickle cell anemia, like general anemia. You have to write everything. Everything about hemoglobin. If you remember, in genetic marker unit, physiological characteristics, one side heading is there. In that physiological side heading, we have body fat, we have heartbeat, we have hemoglobin, we have color blindness, we have sensory perceptions. I told you, in that physiological characteristics, he asked about what? Hemoglobin, which you can answer properly. Next, second question, discuss historical particularism as a critical development to the classical evolutionism. Means what the question is about. You have to write about classical evolutionism, you have to write about criticism of classical evolutionism, and the answer to the criticism of classical evolutionism is historical particularism. So while writing an answer, Anthropological thought is a school of thought which gives us understanding about evolution of cultures across the world. The initial school of thought which came to explain the evolution of cultures is classical evolutionism. Side-heading classical evolutionism. In classical evolutionism, we have three thinkers: E.B. Taylor, Henry Morgan, James Fraser. They generally believed that man had evolved from savagery, barbarism to civilization. And there is a concept called of psychic unity of mankind. Everywhere the evolution happened in the same format. And that characteristics we will explain. Those characteristics we will explain of the classical evolutionism. But however, it got criticized. Why it got criticized? They are unilateral in nature. Everywhere the evolution is from savagery to barbarism to civilization. They came to a conclusion that man is thinking in the same format, which is called a psychic unity of mankind. So because of this criticism, another school came as an answer that is called as historical particularism. Every culture is because of its history, environmental conditions and psychological aspects. These three characteristics combined together to give a school, to give an understanding of culture. So culture is an answer, or culture is a response of history, psychology, environment. That you will write. After writing that, you will mention that in this school they gave primacy to the history, not to the psychic unity of mankind or not to the thought process. Every culture is because of history. In that way, we should write classical evolutionism, characteristics of classical evolutionism, criticism of classical evolutionism, and answer is historical particularism, and historical particularism characteristics, and a conclusion. However, historical particularism is not the absolute school. There is negatives of historical particularism. Hence, another functional school came into existence, which is called as functionalism. Given by whom? Malinowski. Like that, we have to give a way forward. 20 marker question. That is the reason, sir, functionalism, he didn't ask why you are writing 20 marker question. So this is not absolute, this is not final, this is not the final solution for the criticism of classical evolutionism. Historical particularism evolved as an answer, but however, historical particularism also subjected to criticism. Hence, another school came into existence, which is called as functionalism. In this way. Next, we discussed in the classroom. Describe the evidences of food production and domestication of animals with specific reference to Mehergar. If you remember, in Neolithic sites which we discussed in archaeology, we discussed about Mehergar, Balochistan province. It is located in Balochistan province of today's Pakistan, very near to Quetta. It is very unique because nearly 32 mounds were being excavated in Mehergar. Mainly what? Mainly farming evidences, domestication of animals evidences we got. But how answer should be there? From this we have to write like this. The evidence of food production and domestication of animals will clearly explain us that the stage is Neolithic. So in the Neolithic stage, number one, man started producing his own food by doing cultivation. Man started domestication of animals in order to satisfy his hunger. 3. He came up for pottery in order to save his food resources. 4th, the pottery were been several in colors like black ware, grey ware were been used. Then Neolithic. Then you will write that Neolithic culture is called as revolution. Who told this? Gordon Child told this. But the evidence of Neolithic site in India, full-fledged evidence of Neolithic site in India was been found mainly in Mehergar. What we got at Mehergar? You can draw one diagram. This is subcontinent. In nearby Quetta, it is Mehergar. So here it is Mehergar, you will write. Mehergar is what? Neolithic site, you will write here. How many mounds we got? 32 mounds we got. Like that, throw light on its significance. So this is the significance is we came to conclusion that yes, it's not only the Bhimbedka, not only the Sohn, the evolution of man happened. Why? Because Bhimbedka and Sohn gave the evidence of Paleolithic, Mesolithic, Neolithic. But Balochistan province of today's Pakistan also gave us evidence about the Neolithic. From this we can conclude that Indian subcontinent is having evidences of Paleolithic, Mesolithic as well as Neolithic also. That is significance. The significance of Mehergar, through that evidences we are concluding that, so we are having evidences of Paleolithic, Mesolithic as well as Neolithic. Like that we have to write 15 marks, 3 pages. See, first page about Neolithic, 1.5 page you will write about Neolithic, another 1.5 page, another 1 page you will write about Mehergar, another half page you will write a conclusion. So it is giving us evidence that Neolithic site is also, a full-fledged Neolithic site was also present in India. Yes. Next. See, critically comment on the lifestyle diseases and their impact on human health. Critically comment on the lifestyle disease. So first, what is lifestyle disease? Before that, 15 marker. Epidemiological anthropology is a subdiscipline of anthropology which studies about health and disease. In the studies of disease, we understand about various types of diseases like communicable disease and non-communicable disease. Nowadays, non-communicable disease are more widespread when compared to the communicable disease of the early times. In non-communicable disease, lifestyle diseases are more prominent. The lifestyle diseases are mainly because of metabolic disorders, behavioral disorders, food habits, cultural habits, environmental habits. So these are all the factors which are responsible for lifestyle disease. The most famous lifestyle diseases are what? Cardiovascular diseases, cancer diseases, or diabetes, or asthma, hypertension disease, asthmas. These all are the results of. So how we can control it? So by change in our culture, by change in our way of living, by change in our environmental setup, we can reduce lifestyle disease. The recent report which is been given by WHO told that the 70% of the deaths which are happening in the 21st century is mainly because of lifestyle disease. Hence the lifestyle disease can be called as the new health emergency of the world. Like that, we have to give the conclusion, emphasizing on it. Factors can, see introduction how I wrote, epidemiological anthropology. Few people will get doubts, sir, for this how I can write 3 pages answer. So epidemiological anthropology, then how many types are there, then lifestyle disease, a flow. With that flow, in that non-communicable disease is lifestyle disease, in that lifestyle disease, yes. Like that we have to write the answer for this. 3A, what is meant by karyotype? Properly we discussed, I recollected also. 9.4, again we will be connecting. Karyotyping. Karyotyping is nothing but, this diagram is there. If you remember, karyotyping. So, karyotyping is nothing but understanding the structures of the chromosomes of the man. In order to know the structures of a chromosome of a man, we are going to conduct an experiment whereby the dividing cell we take like blood and we apply colchicine solution. Onto the colchicine solution we will apply hypotonic solution. Then it will be bulged and it can be easily visible. When we see on the screen, the chromosomes will be visible like this. This visibility of chromosoming is called as karyotyping or karyotype analysis. By karyotyping, what is the significance? Significance of karyotyping. We can understand autosomal disorders, sexual disorders. So the disorders can be understood. Structural disorders, numerical disorders can be understood. So first I mentioned about what is meant by karyotyping. How does it analyzes, helps in diagnosis of the chromosomal aberrations in man. You can take example of one autosomal aberration, one sexual aberration, one structural aberration, one numerical aberration, one chromosome is missing. For example, what? Turner syndrome. One aberration, structural aberration is there, Cry-du-Chat. One autosomal disorder, like on the autosomal 1 to 22 chromosome, if there is any aberration, like Down syndrome, sexual chromosomal aberration, you can write about Turner syndrome or Klinefelter syndrome or any other syndrome. So, karyotyping we have to mention, you have to draw this diagram. Then what is the second part of the question? Here 2 questions are there. So, 1.5 page should be the karyotyping. Second 1.5 page should be the diagnosis. Define urbanization and discuss its impact on family in India with examples. We know that. So first paragraph we will write. But see, we should not start with urbanization. We should never start with urbanization. We have to write that. What is the question? Family. Family. The unit is family. So first intro, you have to go with the family definition. Either you can write the definition of William Newton Stephen, or you can write the definition of which definition we gave? We can write the definition of Malnovisky, we can write the definition of family, notes and queries family definition, any one family definition you will write. Then characteristics of family: living under a common residence, common kitchen, reciprocal economic obligations, cultural transmissions, these are the characteristics. So family definition, characteristics of family. But the family as a sacred phenomenon is subjected to distortion, there are various factors which are influencing the degeneration of the family system, like industrialization, urbanization, modernization, education, and feminist movements. Full stop. In this, we are going to understand about how urbanization is influencing the family system. Now, urbanization, side heading. Urbanization definition, where the people are migrating from the rural and settle down in urban areas, because of which the urban area is increasing not only in India, across the world. Because of this phenomenon, the family system is getting deteriorated. Next you will write. So it is not because of urbanization the family is getting impacted. There are characteristics in urbanization which are responsible for impact. What are the characteristics? Like what? Anonymity. In urbanization, anonymity will be there or not. If any person is fallen down in the accident, whether we will look at or we will do our work, anonymity is there. So this anonymity is influencing the family system. Individualism is there. This individualism is impacting family system. In urbanization, what is there? Consumption orientation is there. This is impacting the family system. Not only that, proper education and health, that is also there in urbanization. That is also influencing. Employment opportunities, that is also. These are all the characteristics which are present in urbanization, are influencing the family system. Next, impact. Social impact. Direct question it is. What? Impact. Social impact, positive, negative. Political impact, positive, negative. Cultural impact, positive, negative. Economical impact, positive, negative. 2.5 pages completed. Then finally you have to conclude. It is not because of urbanization the family system is impacted. It is the people's response to urbanization. So people are negatively responding to the urbanization, because of which why? Because we should not criticize urbanization. We want urbanization, we want industrialization, we want a feminist movement. So we should not talk against urbanization. We want urbanization, but the urbanization, the positive traits of urbanization we have to take, and the family system should be continued. For example, as told by Iravati Karve, today also joint family systems are existing in urban areas like Kanpur. In that way, we have to write our answer. That is easy question this is. Discuss the contemporary challenges in fieldwork methods in anthropological research. What are the contemporary problems? First one, time. Now, whether we can give that much of time to go into the field and do the field work? No. Time is one thing. Costly affair. Third, the most important challenge is now whether tribals are living in isolated pockets or tribals are also coming into the mainstream. The tribals also coming into the mainstream, because of which we are unable to understand the original culture. Why? Because they also got impacted because of mainstream societies. So when we are studying also, that studies are not giving full original cultures of the society, distorted cultures we are studying. Distorted cultures we are studying, not original cultures, because those cultures got impacted because of mainstream society. That is a very big problem nowadays. 3. Fourth, it might be because of education or health, the people are coming into the nature, so we are unable to conduct. 5th, anthropologists are not motivated like early anthropologists, because of which there is absence of participant observation. Most of the anthropologists in 21st century are giving importance for secondary information rather than doing field works. These are all the problems we have to mention, sir. Then 3 pages answer how I should write, sir. First you should write about field work. Field work definition. We have to write about field work, characteristics of field work, significance of field work, 1 page completed. And this field work methods in anthropological research are having few challenges in contemporary society. 1, 2, 3, 4 with example 6, 7, 8, 9. You will write this challenges, and finally we will conclude that if we want to have objective study of any society, if we want to have ethnography of any society which is objective in nature, field work methods are inevitable. Hence, all the universities were providing the doctorates, they are making compulsory that every thesis submitted by the anthropological students should be of field works. Like that we have to give the answer. 4a. Critically discuss the characteristics of psychological types in the cultures of, see, everyone got confused with this one. See, critically discuss means negative. Critically discuss, leave this critical, discuss the characteristics of psychological types in the cultures of American Southwest observed by Ruth Benedict. What are the psychological types? Aplanonian, Dionysian, in which they studied Pima, Pueblozono, Dobu, Quakitul. That is the question about. So what Ruth Benedict told, we remember like this PC, police constable. Personality influences culture. It is because of personality. So what is a personality? Bad personality, Dionysians. All are bad personalities, so the culture is bad. Good personality. All are good personalities, so the culture is good. Apollonian, where he studied Pima, Pueblozono, Dobu, Quakitul. How he also proved, she also proved by studying Japanese national character, where children are aggressive because their personalities are aggressive. So their culture also became aggressive. So in the contemporary society also she proved, after studying World War II, why Japanese soldiers are so much aggressive. And how many marks it is? 20 marks. Apart from Ruth Benedict, her colleague Margaret Mead also studied about the psychological types in the cultures of various societies, whereby she told that cultures are influencing the personalities. In order to prove it, she studied Samoans, Japanese society, etc. But we will not write everything, just one paragraph we will write about her. This school is responsible for psychological studies, has led to evolution of psychological anthropology. Why? The word is there here. The psychological anthropology, the beginning has been done by whom? Ruth Benedict mainly. Like this we have to write. She gave a term. What is the term? Ruth Benedict. Like model personality, space personality. What she gave? One special genus. There will be the special genus is what? Psychological type. The special genus is Apollonian. The special genus is Dionysian. Discuss Acheulean and Olduvaian tradition. Olduvaian tradition, Indian Paleolithic, with suitable illustrations. Simple. You will write about Acheulean, Abelian, Chulian. First it was Chulian, then Abelian, then Acheulean. Acheulean is advanced hand axis, if you remember. The advanced hand axis were been present in Madrasian culture. So here we have to remember about Madrasian culture. Olduvaian tools, if you remember Olduvaian, like how in the Son Valley the tools were been available, in the same way the tools were been available in Olduvai Gorge of Africa, Son Valley. So here you should write about Son Valley, here you should write about Muchantla Chintamani Gavi as well as Madrasian culture. It is not about Paleolithic, it is about what? Indian Paleolithic. So complete Son tools you have to write here, Madrasian, South Indian tools you have to write here. What is genetic? Easy. You know better than me. What is genetic counseling? Notes and queries definition is there. Genetic counseling, positives of genetic counseling, negatives of genetic counseling. Briefly discuss various steps. What are the steps involved in it? Genetic counseling. You can write it. Yes, Raghu, correct. Yes. If you take our notes, one of my student, very good student, he was there. It is there in the first impression video also. Chronometric dating. Chronometric dating. The first line of our absolute dating method notes, absolute dating method is also called as chronometric dating. It is written. Few students doesn't know that absolute dating, sometimes it happens, sometimes it will be there, we don't know. But in our notes it was there clearly. Absolute dating method is called as chronometric dating method. Then you will write the definition. Then you will write how many types of absolute dating methods are there. Radiocarbon dating method, potassium argon dating method, thermoluminescence dating method. 3 you can write, or 1 in detail also you can write. Absolute dating method. Cultural relevance. This is all chronometric dating. Cultural relevance of Kula. Kula ring is a favorite question for UPSC. You can draw the diagram. Pima, Marshall Bennett, Dobu, the diagram you will draw, Mawali, Saulava, it will be traveling in clockwise direction, anti-clockwise direction, people will be sharing, 17 tribal islands will be sharing, nearly 7,000 people are involved, only men are involved, female are not involved, in a ferocious Pacific Ocean, they know that they might die, but still they are continuing their culture. Relevance, no. Relevance, they are not worried about the ferocious ocean. They know that it doesn't have any economic value, but just to maintain their social relationship, just to continue their culture, just to continue their tradition, they are continuing what? Kularing. The diagram you will draw. Malnovisky will write. Economic subsistence we will write. Economic subsistence or not? Economic subsistence, substantive economy. Substantive economy whereby we will not give importance for profit and loss. We give importance for human values and culture. We will not give importance for rational thinking. We give importance only for humanly thinking or relationship based. In this we will write. In order to prove his substantive economy, he studied Melanesia and Polynesia. There is a unique cultural system which is called as Kularing, and Kularing is a heading. Saulava, necklace, Mawali, bracelets. Cultural relevance of Kula. I told very strongly, because of that Kularing only they united and fought against. They became united, no. So they were being, whenever they are conducting Kularing, 17 tribal communities are coming together, and finally they understood that who are these British. So they fought against the British, they got united because of Kularing meeting. So the social relevance was applicable, and the social relevance is successful because of the Kularing only. They fought against British and they got independence. Heritability and its estimation. Think and tell me. Yes, Raghu, correct. Heritability and estimation. First we will write heritability. How heritability will be happening? It's a PYQ actually. Heritability. Someone messaged me now only. He's Harshavardhan, Nandavardhan. He's from IIT Kharagpur. I will show. Nandavardhan. Sir, if we prepare thoroughly our notes and PYQ major part can be answered easily. I felt like that. Notes and PYQs. PYQs, model answers I only provided. This is also PYQ, heritability and its estimation. Heritability, remember, pedigree analysis. Heritability, estimation. How much percentage of the people will be getting disease in the next generation? How much percentage of the people will not get disease in the estimation? No, that is estimation or not? Pedigree, autosomal dominant, autosomal recessive, X dominant, X recessive, it is estimation. So how the heritability will be happening? That we have to write here. Next, authority and forms of political organization. Unit number 4. Authority and forms of political, band level political organization, chiefdom level political organization, kingdom level political organization, state level political organization. First you will write the definition of political organization. In simple societies there are 4 varieties of political organizations are there: band level, kingdom level, chiefdom level and state level. But however state level is exclusive for modern society. Band level you will write, chiefdom level you will write, kingdom level you will write, and state level you will write. 10 marker only, 2 pages will be completed. Single gene mutation disorders in man. Think and tell me. Single gene mutations. Single gene mutation disorders in man. Single gene mutations. Here, what all we have to write? Mendelian genetics we have to write. Single factor. Single gene mutation. Mendelian genetics you have to write. Turner syndrome, 1 chromosome is responsible. So wherever 1 chromosome is impacted, Turner syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, wherever 1 chromosome is getting impacted, it can be structural chromosomal aberration or numerical chromosomal aberration, sexual chromosomal, starting with Mendelian till chromosomal aberrations, each one small paragraphs, small paragraphs you have to write. Discuss the geographical distribution of Homo erectus, you have to tell me. So Homo erectus, how many varieties are there? 5 varieties of Homo erectus are there. Homo erectus ergaster African, Homo erectus heidelbergensis European, Homo erectus pekinensis China, Homo erectus javanicus Indonesia, Homo erectus narmadensis, Narmada man, You draw world map. Here Narmada man, here Pekinensis, here Javanicus, here Ergaster, here Heidelbergensis. Then, taking into account its physical features, where does it fit in the human evolutionary line? Phylogenetic status. Which phylogenetic status you will draw? Scoopin. Only that Scoopin diagram, like this it will be there now. The Scoopin diagram you have to draw. Then, physical characteristics. Why? 20 marker. Physical characteristics, cultural characteristics, differences between Ergaster, Heidelbergensis, Pekinensis, Javanicus, and hence the Ergaster, the Pekinensis, the Javanicus man cannot survive the changing environmental conditions, and the Heidelbergensis are further evolved to become what? Neanderthal. That is what that's. World map should be there, and phylogenetic status should be there, skull should be there, one tool you should write. Why? Because Homo erectus, which culture? Lower Paleolithic. Lower Paleolithic, which tool? Hand axis. One hand axis like this. Just simply you can draw hand axis. Discuss the applications of forensic anthropology with suitable example. We had our own example. Who is that? Forensic anthropology, paternity diagnosis. The famous man. N.D. Tiwari. N.D. Tiwari. So, for it is result of forensic anthropology, no? Forensic anthropology, the science and biological aspects, when we apply into the criminal investigation cases, it is called as forensic anthropology. Forensic anthropology involves fingerprinting, involves skeletal studies, involves dental studies, involves DNA fingerprinting, involves blood groups studies. This all will be involved. First, fingerprints, we know loops, whorls, loops, whorls, that you will write off page. Then skeleton features. Supraorbital ridges, if it is wide, it is male. If supraorbital ridges are little bit thinner, it is female. Few points you will write. Then dental arch. The dental arch, if interlocking of teeth are there, it is called as apes. For humans, we don't have interlocking of teeth, that you will write. Then DNA fingerprinting, for every 3 million people, only 2 people will be matching, so it is practically impossible. The nitrogenous bases are unique. That nitrogenous basis will give 100% accuracy with respect to identification of man, that we will write. Then blood grouping also. Earlier we used to believe father blood group, mother blood group will be the same for the child also. That also we will mention. So, by all this, recently we applied, for the first time forensic anthropology was been applied where in India? Diana Sahani case, 1997. Diana Sahani case, and recently in N.D. Tiwari case, mainly with respect to paternity diagnosis case also, it was been applied. Sumit Kshetriya, sir, I have completed anthropology with your book. It's amazing for building concepts. Thanks. I will be appearing 2026. Yes. Any suggestions? Please follow these model answers which I am explaining you. Yes. How does Levi-Strauss? See, one thing is there. This I will accept. This I will accept. Googly type of question, but I will tell you. How does Levi-Strauss look at the Shimshayan myth of Asdiwal? Shimshayan myth of Asdiwal. People are thinking that there is a googly type of question. Critically discuss Levi-Strauss. This is hint. Levi-Strauss theory of structuralism in the light of a study of mythologies or myths. See, when we are studying about structuralism, several contributions of Levi-Strauss we understood. In that several contributions of Levi-Strauss, we also understood about one particular contribution which is called as Levi-Strauss on incest taboo. Levi-Strauss on incest taboo. Levi-Strauss was the first person who studied about incest taboo. How he came to that conclusion? There is a story, mythological story. Son is attracted towards the mother, and the son will forcefully marry the woman, mother. Then what if there will be chaos in the society? And the people will come and scold, and people will have a hatred towards that individual. Then he come to a conclusion that that type of thing should not be there, which is called as Oedipus complex. From that Oedipus complex, incest has been developed. Hence this incest is called as what? Incest taboo. So we studied about Levi-Strauss and incest taboo, but that conclusion is from this study. That conclusion is from this study. Everyone know this, but I am sure that Levi-Strauss contributions on incest taboo is from this studies they don't know, which is called as Oedipus complex, mother and son, which resulted in incest taboo. Critically examine the notion of deconstruction in the light of postmodern works of Jacques Derrida. If you remember, it is for my students, if you remember, at one point of time, I remembered, at one point of time, I gave you the list of anthropologists. In that list of anthropologists who belongs to postmodernism school, I used one word called Jacques Derrida. I didn't went deeper into it, but I told one thing. These people who are doubting the ethnographies of all the anthropologists, they told that we are dissatisfied by your ethnography. Why? Because your ethnographies are subjective. Subjective means interpretative. We don't want subjective ethnographies, we want postmodernism. We want objective ethnography. So, in order to have objective ethnography, please you people deconstruct your ethnographies, delete all your ethnographies, again go back to the tribal areas, again you do ethnographies, and that ethnographies should be what? Objective. Deconstruction. You have to demolish it and again you have to construct it, such that the ethnographies should not be subjective, but the ethnographies should be objective. If you remember, in postmodernism I told this. In postmodernism I told that they are dissatisfied. That is the reason we tell no dead-end school. Then everyone asked, okay, can you tell me how we can do objective ethnography? Then they told, I don't know, we don't know. But you find an answer. You people should find an answer. We are only criticizers. Deconstruction. Jacques Derrida. What is a multifactorial trait? Illustrate your answer with suitable human examples. What is multifactorial trait? Understand this. My skin is a multifactorial trait, which is influenced by gene, which is influenced by environment, which is influenced by malnutrition, which is influenced by light. So this trait, this is multifactorial trait. Means what we have to write for this answer? Any trait of human being is equally influenced by genetics and the question is about. The question is about influence of traits. Influence of traits not only genetical but also environmental. Yes or no? We studied this topic, is there or not? Influence of environment, that is multifactorial trait. Illustrate your answer with suitable human example. Mulatto, a cross breed of white and black. Yes, that also we have to add it. True. Levi-Strauss is a student of Sigmund Freud. Levi-Strauss is a student of Sigmund Freud. That is the reason. Yes, in that Levi-Strauss is a student of Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud is a person who studied about Oedipus complex. From that Oedipus complex only he derived this. True, Sri Harsha, yes. Multifactorial. Discuss applicability of various sampling techniques in selecting the study group. This is also PYQ. 2010 or 2020 question I asked you in your exams. These are three varieties are there, like what? systematic sampling or simple sampling. Systematic sampling means out of every 100th person is sampled, every 100th person is sampled, or group sampling. Here few people are taken, here few people are taken, and they have been sampled. Group sampling, systematic sampling, derived sampling, this is study group. Examine critically. Examine critically the concept of social stratification. Listen carefully. Examine critically the concept of social stratification as a basis for sustaining social inequality. Examine critically the concept of social stratification as a basis for sustaining social inequality. A social inequality is responsible for, see, any society is subjected to inequality based upon biological aspects and sociological aspects. Biological aspects like gender, race, age, sociological aspects like caste. So this inequalities, when they are subjected to discrimination, it is called a social stratification. So everything about social stratification we will write, but examine critically. But however, social stratification is also good. Functional stratification is there, like Jajimane system. When they are stratified, our all purpose, our all works are been done. Whatever we want, everything is been there. Which person will serve our purpose? Which person will give our things? This all can be given in which system? Social stratification is there. I told you in the classroom, if everyone is IAS officer, then who is going to be the car driver? In that way, social stratification is also a good concept. But however, in spite of government affirmative actions, there are social stratification is continuing. Describe genetics and inheritance patterns of ABO and RH blood group. Very easy. A, B, AB, O, whom we can give, whom we cannot give, RH, RH positive, RH negative, RH incompatibility, what is the disease, erythroblastosis, fetalis, these all things we will write about. Landsteiner is a person who studied about the blood groups. Critically discuss synergistic effects of biological and cultural factors in human evolution. If you remember, there is a relationship between the biology and culture, which is called as biocultural feedback, which is being told by Sherwood L. Washburn. How fire is responsible for marriage, how pelvis increase is responsible for infant dependency. So biological and cultural, that flowchart is there. That flowchart you have to draw and you have to explain it. That is synergistic. Critically discuss. But however, it is subjected to true, but the criticism cannot stand still. Yes, there is a synergistic relationship between the culture and biology. So this is about paper 1. From all these things, I can conclude 2 things. Number 1, from paper is doable. Yes or no? Paper is doable. Expected lines. Now paper 2 question paper came. We will do that also 6 o'clock. There is people will tell, or people are assuming that